Bhakti Swami Maharaja ki jai. Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa Paribrahma Acharya Astota Satat Sitsimad Divine Grace of Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasata Kurgosam Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai. Namacharya Sri Haridasa Koti ki jai. Prem se kahao se Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda se Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi se Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Se Radha Krishna Gopal Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Girivardhan ki jai. Vrindavan Mathura ki jai. Mahapanava Vidam ki jai. Se Jagannathpura Dham ki jai. Gangamai Yamunamai ki jai. Srimati Tulsi ki jai. Srimati Bhakti ki jai. Samadeva Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Nitai Gaur All glory is to the summoned devotees. All glory is to the summoned devotees. All glory is to the summoned devotees. All glories to the Gauranga Varanga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaspecha Narancheva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasat Tattvajaya Mukire Nastapaya Subhadrisu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Soke Bhakti Bhavaiti Naistiki. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 8, Text 24. title of this chapter is Lord Krishna shows the universal form. Ya Ganna Dasaniya Kumara Lila Anta Vraje Tadapala Pragrihita Puche Vase Itastata Ubav Anukrishyamana Prikshantya Ujita Griha Jarishu Hasantya Yayagana Dasaniya Kumara Lila Ante Praja Tadabhala Pragrihita Puche Vase Hitastata Ubhavanu Krishyamano Prekshanti Ujita Griha Jasu Hasantya Can someone try?
Prekshantya Ujita Griha Jansu Anusatya
Yari Angana Darashaniya Kumara Nila Anta Prajeta Dabala Pagrihita Puche Vatseritas Tatahubhavanu Krishna Shamano Prekshantya Hijita Griha Jasu Hasantya Dashaniya Kumara Lila Anta Vrajeta Dabala Pragrihita Puche Vatseritas Tatauba
Ladies.
Yaha Ajanta Dashane Kumalila Prajita Abala Prajita Puche Vatsaita Satauta Anu Krishna Mano Anta Ujita Griha Jashu Hasanta
Any more ladies? word-for-word translation, and then translation and purport by the followers of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, okay? Yahi, when? Angana Dashaniya, visible only to the ladies within the house. Kumara Leela, the pastimes of Sri Krishna and Balaram exhibited as children. Antaha Braje, within the inside of Braja, in the house of Nanda Maharaj. Tat, at that time, Balaha, all the ladies, Prakrihita Puje, the ends of their tails having been cut by Krishna and Balaram. Vatse, by the cows. Ittaha tataha, here and there. Uba, both Krishna and Balaram. Anu Krishya Manu, being dragged. Prekshantyaha, seeing such things. Ujita, giving up. Griha, the household affairs. Jarishu, enjoyed very much. Enjoyed very much. Asantyaha, while laughing. So, translation. Within the house of Nanda Maharaj, the cow-haired ladies will enjoy seeing the pastimes of the babies Rama and Krishna. The ladies will catch the ends of the calves. The babies will catch the ends of the calves' tails, and the cows will drag them here and there. When the ladies saw these pastimes, they certainly stopped their household activities and laughed and enjoyed the incidents. Please kindly responsibly repeat. Within the house of Nanda Maharaj, the cowherd ladies will enjoy seeing the pastimes of the babies, Rama and Krishna. The babies will catch the ends of the cow's tails, and the cows will drag them here and there. When the ladies saw these pastimes, they certainly stopped their household activities and laughed and enjoyed the incidents. Purport. While crawling in curiosity, Krishna and Balaram will sometimes catch the ends of the tails of cows. The cows, feeling that someone had caught them, will begin to flee here and there. And the babies will hold on very tightly, being afraid of how the calves were moving. The calves, seeing that the babies were holding them tightly, would also become afraid. Then the ladies will come to rescue the babies and gladly laugh. This was their enjoyment. Yanadana Salakaya, Saksu, Chaitanya Manavista, Bandi Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Nityananda, Samavita, Gurudaya, Bhavantu, Chita Charita. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu
Nityananda, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda,
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Panchakalpatari.
Namo Namaha.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Desaya Mutali Bhakti Vedanta. So, the Leelas of Lord Krishna are designably divided into three: the pastimes of Krishna as a baby, pastimes as the three or four, no, pastimes of Krishna as a baby, as a youth, and as an adult. If you go into the scriptures, some say it's into four places, basically the Kumara, Yovana, and all the rest of them. But, one of the things that strikes my interest, especially in this very chapter, is how is it that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Why couldn't he just come by himself? Why come with, many people around him? For what? He's the Supreme Lord. He could just come and bless the devotees. So maybe anybody here has some idea to help me out. Why did Krishna have to come? Look, even when he came as Lord Ramachandra, he came with an entourage, with brothers. Why? What is the rationale? Can someone help me out? Yes.
Maybe to make us.
Maybe. No. Yes.
Because in order to approach Krishna, we cannot approach him directly.
Yes.
So if he came alone, we think we can approach him directly.
Maybe. Thank you. It's a good input. Can someone make some additional input here? Yes.
To enjoy relationship.
To enjoy relationship. Good. Anyone with other idea? Yes. You want to say something, Mataji? No? Okay. Anyone else? Oh, yes.
To show the world how we should worship Krishna, because his entourage are examples of devotees who worship Krishna in a perfect way.
Anyone else? Thank you. Ladies, yes?
To establish the principles of religion and miscreants.
That's good. He mentioned that in the Bhagavad Gita, the external reasons of his coming was to do that. But now, what I'm trying to figure out, what I'm trying to know, I don't know. So I'm trying to know, why will Krishna come with entourage? Why will he come with brother? Why will he come with sister? Each time he comes, he appears in his pastime. He doesn't come alone. Why? Yes.
Because he likes to be with them.
He likes what?
To be with them.
Be with them. Yes. Anyone else make some additional input? Yes.
I think due to the internal pastime, internal reasons, these devotees in previous lives have requested to come with Krishna and experience certain leaders as well.
Okay.
I think that's.
Thank you. All of the reasons adduced are very relevant. And I would like to add that, sociologically speaking, You see, when a child has a sibling, their cognitive development is completely different. Compare, this is according to research, I'm sorry, because I'm coming from science background, so I like to back up my story. So, a child needs socialization which enhances their cognitive development as well as their social values. And Krishna, see, I'm saying this because I've seen also in our movement, we see how Krishna comes with, with his brothers or sister. When each time he comes, he appears in his leelas. And then I've seen also in our movement how we have been reading all of these pastimes, but in most cases it does not occur to us to really try to figure out why this is happening. And why will Krishna? He could just choose to come by himself and deliver, kill the demons and all this stuff. So, scientifically speaking, when a child has a sibling to play with, their love is focused in the family. When a child does not have a sibling to play with, their love is outside. Their friends are all outside. They don't have anyone to play with in the family. And therefore, even the parents sometimes they find it difficult to deal with a single child. Because the parent cannot really be playing with that child on the level of the child. The basic fundamental principle that the parent comes to give orders, all in the name of parenting. And I remember a case of a 10-year-old girl. I was in India, in Delhi, so I went to see my doctor. And then, the wife normally will call me over for lunch. So one day I was there, and then I waited for the husband to come for us to eat. And the 10-year-old daughter, she sneaked out. She didn't even tell him what. She sneaked out to come meet me. I was complaining about the father. He said, your friend. I said, what happened? He said, your friend is not giving me time. Your friend is not playing with me. This is a medical doctor who has a big hospital. So yeah, you may love your child, you may provide all of the infrastructures, amenities, but you cannot play with the child on the level of the child. And in most cases, we are too busy. And this creates a single child development creates some type of inhibition in their cognitive development. Even their social skills could be very awkward. And therefore, when we see Krishna coming with his brothers, or coming with his brothers or sisters, it should also strike us to be able to try to investigate or to figure out, because these things are not written in our scriptures. The leelas are there. I mean, it's like Rupa Goswami talks about confidence. We should have a confidence. But Rupa Goswami did not tell us why we should have a confidence. The rationale for having a confidence. It's not even there in the purport. And therefore, Krishna comes, you see, we are social beings. No matter how wealthy you are, no matter how intelligent you are, you cannot really be satisfied with just being by yourself. You need someone to relate with. You need someone to play with. Oh yeah. So, sometimes we may read the scriptures and also, narrate the leelas. But it should also strike us to understand the spiritual, the social, and even sometimes the economic or administrative implications of these leelas. Then it could make a meaning in our lives. Then we can apply those ideas or those principles we derive from those leelas in our own practical life to create a positive devotional change and a positive social change. Otherwise, the scriptures, the Leelas, they become like, stories, folk tales we read. Yes, they purify us. Reciting these Leelas, yes, they purify us. But what are the implications in our own lives? That should be the next step we should really be navigating. Because in all spheres of information culture, in all spheres of knowledge acquisition, there is the theoretical aspect, and there is the contemporary commentaries of, for instance, we have all of these in our scriptures. The leaders are there. We look at this as the models.
You might be too fast for translators.
Oh, someone is translating? I see. I'm sorry. See, the problem I have is that, somebody has to remind me like this, otherwise it could be a problem. Why? Because in academia, we have to go to conferences to present a paper of maybe 25 pages in 15 minutes. So then we get acclimatized to that system, and sometimes we forget that we are talking to students, or talking to devotee audience, and it's just in the mindset that you're talking to professors, they understand it, so you talk to your paper. I'm sorry about that. So the point is that Krishna has enacted so many leaders. So here we're talking about why he has to come with Balaram. Why don't you come alone? Socialization. We are also involved in socialization. We call it Sangha. But that is socialization, it's spiritual socialization. Without socialization, we may not be able to build up the proper talents and skills in our devotional culture. We may not be able to build the high resistance to temptations even, because when people come together, there is more that goes on subtly in terms of the interactions than even the physical. Therefore, the scriptures warn us, do not associate with people who are not devotionally inclined. Because of the subtlety of the relationship when people come within close proximity. And so, here, in this very text, the adventures of Krishna and Balaram, when they were little babies, is very exciting. Because here we see that God, who is the yogis after this personality, they perform so many austerities. In most cases, not even to attain his personal future, to attain the Brahma Jyoti. But they have to perform so many austerities, so much of austerities. But here, this same personality, the ultimate form as a personality, is there in the court of Nanda Maharaj, crawling around, playing in the court of Yamaraj. What the yogis have to strive for years, decades. That personality is crawling, playing around in the court of Yamaraj, in the court of Nanda Maharaj. Therefore, the devotee prefers to worship Nanda Maharaj because he has captured this person. And so Krishna and Balaram, they were playing like ordinary children. They were not growing up in the house of the President of the United States. They chose Nanda Maharaj as their father. Nanda Maharaj wasn't the President of India at the time. He wasn't the Prime Minister of India at the time. He was just in charge of a small village. He was just the king of a small village. But Krishna chose to appear in his family. So Krishna makes the selection himself. It's like if you're a recruiter on a job, say you're a recruiter in a company, you have to make your selections. You have some criteria to judge who to recruit. So Krishna also has his own criteria to judge who to accept as a parent. Who to accept as a parent. And if you go back, Nanda and his wife, in previous life, they were Drona and who? So, and they were prompted by Lord Brahma to do this job, to come and be the parents of Lord Krishna. And so sometimes we don't seem to get it. But it just shows how devotion, intense devotion, unmotivated love for Krishna can compel Krishna to be the servant of the devotee. Now, when Nanda Maharaj was fostering Krishna, or was parenting Krishna, was fathering Krishna, he would sometimes ask Krishna, "Hey, Lala, go and bring my shoes." And the little boy will go and pick up his wooden shoes and put them on his head and bring to his father. That is the same Supreme Personality of God that the yogis are striving for. They perform austerities for decades. He's playing the court of Nanda Maharaj. So, we have to understand the intense devotion that must have invoked this Supreme Personality of Godhead to come and take shelter of Nanda Maharaj. And so sometimes, we wonder, how is it that sometimes we find people who are not even devotees, they give birth to very powerful children, like Prahlad Maharaj. Acha. Prahlad Maharaj, his father. Who is his father? Hiranyakasipu. He's a pure devotee?
Not yet.
No. King of demons.
So we understand Nanda Maharaj, he was a powerful personality, powerful devotee of the Lord, and Lord Brahma deputed him to come and, father Krishna. But what about Hiranyakasipu? Who gave birth? Who begetted Prahlad? A powerful soul, powerful devotee, a fearless devotee. What's our explanation to that? Can someone help me out? Why would a so-called demon Hiranyakasipu beget such a powerful soul? We know Drona, Nanda Maharaj, he was a powerful devotee. Before he was deputed by Lord Brahma to come and do this service. What about Hiranyakasipu? How come he was able to beget a child like Prahlad Maharaj? Yes, can someone help us out?
Because the greatest demons needs to have the greatest devotee.
What?
The greatest demons needs to have the greatest devotee.
Who said that? Reference, please. I need reference. Thank you, but I need a reference. I would like to repeat this some other place, but I need a reference.
I can help you now.
Okay, please tell us.
Opposite attract.
Opposite attract.
Yes.
Acha.
Magnetic attraction.
Thank you.
Reference, please.
Okay, my friend Prabhupada came to America.
Papa
Came to America
came to America.
in the 60s. In the 60s.
Uh-huh.
He came
Okay.
during the hippie time.
Okay.
So he came to give his
His blessings.
Opposite attract.
That looks less logical. But logic alone does not stand the test of the litmus, devotional litmus paper. Yes.
Is it to illustrate the power of salvation?
Power of salvation. They are all good points.
Thank you.
Now, see, this very scenario is not documented in the Bhagavatam, so it's a little bit tricky. But in the Srimad Purana, chapter 20, chapter 20 of the Srimad Purana, there is this explicit delineation of how Prahlad came to Hiranyakashipu's family. Now, Hiranyakashipu, he was a disturbance. And at some point in time, he was planning to go and perform some austerities. So he told his wife. What is his wife's name? Kayadu. He told Kayadu, darling, I have this plan. A faithful husband, a trustworthy husband must tell his wife their plans. Correct? So, Hiranyakashipu was a trustworthy husband to his wife, okay? He told his wife his plan. I plan on going to the forest to perform austerities. It would be for a long time. If I go, I'll be away for a long time. So the wife said, okay. Praying for the best. So then, Hiranyakashipu went to the forest to perform the austerities. Before he went to the forest, Lord Brahma was in anxiety. Lord Brahma knew. Lord Brahma knows past, present, and future. He has that power of Trikalagya to some degree. And so Lord Brahma knew. And he was disturbed because Hiranyakashipu was coming to beg for mercy he cannot provide. Himself is not immortal. Hiranyakashipu is planning to come to perform austerity and ask for immortality. So he was in anxiety. What to do? What to do with this guy? And his son, the best of his sons, Narada Muni, also knew about Hiranyakashipu's plans. And he knew, Narada Muni also knew that his father was in anxiety because of Hiranyakashipu's agenda. So, as a very faithful son, a beloved son, in fact, Lord Brahma, he says in his own words that Nada is the best of his sons. Sunara Bhakshami. He said, Putra Shrestha. Putra Shrestha is the best of my sons. Putra Shrestha. So, Nada knew. And he went to meet Lord Brahma, he went to meet his father. And he went to tell him, like, a traditional American child would say, hey Dad, I know your problems. I'll help out.
Oh my God.
I'll help out. Don't worry. So, Lord Brahma, he also knows the powers of his son, Nanda. Nanda is a pure devotee. So Lord Brahma knows his powers. So when he came to placate Lord Brahma like that, he was pacified. And Narada planned his way, again, strategy. Narada strategized on how to help out his father. So he went to tell his friend, Parvata Muni, that, hey, guy, there's a fun. We have to go for fun. So now, and then he gave the details of the fun. He said, this is what Hiranyakasipu plans to do. So both of us, we take the forms of birds. We go and perch on the tree under where Hiranyakasipu will be performing his austerities. And we'll chant this mantra, Om Narayana Namaha. Hiranyakasipu is an overt enemy of Lord Krishna. When he hears this mantra repeatedly, he will be distracted. And will be able to discontinue his austerity. In that way, my father will be saved from his anxiety. So, Hiranyakasipu went, after telling his wife he was going to be away. So he went into the forest for the performance of this austerity. He started, and there and then, Narada and Parvata came in the form of birds, perched on that tree, and started chanting, Om Namo Narayana, Om Namo Narayana. He was disturbed at some point in time. He couldn't take it anymore. He discontinued his austerity. So he left, went back home. And then one day they were having fun, Hiranyakasipu and his wife. Then an expert woman, a very socially intelligent woman, knows what time to ask the husband for anything and to get it. See, there's so much fun in our scriptures, but there's so much of information culture, also social information, spiritual information. Everything that you need to know is there in the scriptures. It's there in the Vedic literatures. So, when they were having fun, so the wife said, my darling, you have mentioned to me that you'll be away for a long time for your austerity. How is it that you came back so quickly? And then Hiranyakasipu was recounting what transpired in the forest. Or telling him. And then he was repeating the words, Om Namo Narayana, that these two birds we are chanting this mantra. To the point that he got really distracted and disturbed. So as the time was repeating this mantra to the wife, what the birds were reciting, at that time he discharged semen. That is how that powerful soul was enamored by the vibrations of Narayana to take shelter of Hiranyakasipu's wife's womb. This is there. You can find this in the Narasimha Purana, chapter 20. I like references. I like to make references. So, back to our talking point. Krishna had a lot of fun with Balaram. Someone just asked me, one of my aspiring disciples from the Caribbean, a young lady doing software engineering, she just asked me, Maharaj, can you tell me some stories about Krishna and Balaram? What did he also perform some pranks to Balaram? Krishna was respectful to Balaram. As they were growing up, Balaram became like his immediate counselor. In fact, when he goes out to play and it's getting late, the mother will ask Balaram to go and fetch him. So we find that if a child has a sibling, especially if the gap is not too much, it creates a type of not only a spiritual cohesion, but sociological cohesion too in the family. Because the parents may not have to worry so much because the kids, they grow up as friends. And they understand each other better than what the parents will even think about. And therefore it becomes easy to manage the family when 2 kids or 3 kids are growing up than a single child growing up, because you just make that child to be, in some cases, be down in depressive feeling because they feel lonely. Who amongst us will vouch to be lonely? I like loneliness. See, in the prison, if they want to punish the prisoner, they isolate him or her. And very quickly, they commit suicide. Very quickly. Oh, yeah. Therefore, we need to understand the social implications of Krishna coming with Balaram. Krishna coming in even other pastimes and in other incarnations. It hardly comes alone, except in some type of special avatars. But coming as in the form of a human, no. He has this a type of rapport that he enjoys with his devotees, enjoys with his pure devotees, with his siblings, and even having to take birth in the home of Nanda Maharaj, that is a big plus for the pure devotee as Nanda Maharaj. And so we are producing powerful children, powerful musicians in our movement. We should also, it is time also to produce some sciences in our movement. This is the obligation of the householders. It is time, to invoke these powerful souls into our movement. How many of you here have read the Bhagavatam Samskara book? I have read the Bhagavatam Samskara book. Raise up your hand. I want to see. Very few people. Very few people. We should read the Bhagavatam Samskara book. Prabhupada said we could bring very powerful souls in that movement. Yes, we're already bringing that. I think so. We are people who are very, very good in music. Kirtanias. We are here to produce the sciences in our movement. All the sciences you are seeing, they came from outside. I'm sorry. All right. Is there any comments or questions? Any comments or questions? Because our time is up. Yes. Any comments or questions? Yes.
It's not related to the class though.
Okay.
So how to not become proud?
How to not become proud? Yes. Yeah, that's a good question. You see, pride is something that comes before a fall, and so we should guard against pride. This is a very important question. Now remember, this brings to mind, there was a Gurukul when Burijan was in charge of the Gurukul in Vrindavan. There was this boy who was not doing so well. So Burijan told him that, you need to improve because your grades are going down. You know the boy's excuse? He said, I don't want to be proud. If my grades are high, if my scores go high, I'll be proud. Which is a good excuse, right? That is meaningless excuse. Completely meaningless excuse. So we shouldn't say because we're trying to be devotees, so we should not excel in our career. We are trying to be devotees. In fact, Bhakti Siddhanta was the best student in his class all through his studies. Although he was not a bookworm, he read the scriptures only. But he was the best. So, we shouldn't say, well, like the Guru Kuli who said, if I excel, I'll be proud. No, we should excel. Because excellence attracts, people who are of high profile intellect, and people who also have high inclination towards a spirituality. If people come around and they see that we're just dull-witted people who go about repeating scriptures without even practicing it, they will be disinterested in us. They will see us as hypocrites. And so, pride is something we need to guard against. The one thing that I can give you my own personal story, hermeneutics, okay? That for me, I go out and then I mix with all of these guys, and some of my friends, like I mentioned before, some of my friends, they have 3 PhDs. So if I travel around, I go to places, there is a lot to learn from just interacting with people out there, because these are people who have higher degrees than I have. I have 1 PhD, but some of my friends, they have 3 PhDs. That's a cause, that's a reason to mellow down. That's a reason to just mellow down. Hey, who are you? You are nothing. Some of our peers, they have 3 PhDs. You just have only 1 PhD. So why should you make it to be proud? When we look around, we will always find someone who is better than us. We use that as a yardstick to be able to measure our level of humility. See, we can be very good at doing something, but we will always find someone who does it better than us. That is one good way to create a sense of humility in us. Because pride comes when we think we are the best. I know everything. I remember when I was doing a Bhakti Sastri in Mayapur, in a class, one of the courses we were doing, that was a Sayansi who was taking the class. And there was a Guru Kuli, a young boy, Caucasian, white boy, in the class. And he asked a question. And the teacher, he said something, that was several years ago, like 2008, 2009, but it's still in my consciousness. The teacher said, in response to the question, he said, "You're just a small boy. Why do you know?" Yeah. So we could think because we've been hanging in the movement for decades. So anybody else is nothing. I'm there before you, so I'm better than you. That is not. That should not be the presumption. Okay, we are there for years before this person comes. But who is senior? When we go into retrospect, say 100 years back or 200 years back, who was the senior? I've seen also people who come to our movement, the people who engage them to wash plates and dishes, they are still there. That person they engage in washing dishes has gone to become a Sayansi and become a guru, and then they have to come and serve under them. I've seen that in our movement, in our ISKCON movement. I've seen it. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. So there is a reason for us to be humble. If we look around, we will always find someone better than us. Yes.
How to accept it?
How to accept it? It's a simple thing that we understand. We are so infinitesimal. On the universal's map, the jiva 1/10,000 the tip of the air. So if it is, suppose it is a material substance, you cannot measure it under a high-powered microscope. You will not be able to see it. 1/10,000 the tip of the air. We are so small. But most times we forget that we are so small. And we think that we are so big. That is where the identity crisis comes in. We should not be victims of identity crisis. We have problems because of identity crisis. We quickly forget that we, the jiva, is 1/10,000 the tip of the air. We are so infinitesimal. That alone is a reason. So that is the acceptance principle. We should remind ourselves, hey, I'm 1/10,000 the tip of the air. And that will allow us to not identify so much with the body, because the body identification is what is causing the whole problem. People commit crimes because of the identity crisis. They are impaired by the impulse of the sensory modalities and the mind. Why? Because they misidentify with the senses and the mind. So if we can remind ourselves, I am 1/10,000 the tip of the air. The spiritual spark, not this body. We can make hay while the sun shines. See, the simple things we tend to ignore are the same simple things that create stagnation in our spiritual life. So we should go back to the beginning. We should begin to relearn, rehearse, refresh. There, in companies we have refresher courses. We should not think that we become too advanced. We stay in the moment for a couple of years, and maybe we are given some position, and then we think we are better than everybody else. Better than everybody else. We're not better than nobody. Whatever services we have been asked to do is to help to purify us. It's not because I'm a Swami, so I'm better than any one of you. No, that's not true. I am delegated to, I've been given some service to perform on behalf of my spiritual master, on behalf of Prabhupada. It doesn't mean that I'm better than anybody here. No. In fact, I had my own personal experience. Some devotees that I trained, I made them devotees when I was temple president. I trained them up. I eventually went to work under them as pujaris, as a pujari. Yeah. Oh yeah. Because I resigned from presidency, my Guru Mother asked me to do some preaching in academia. So I thought this is just going to be presidency is just going to be counterproductive to this service. So I resigned. So when I was doing that service as the sole preacher in academia, I was serving also in the temple as a pujari under one of the devotees that I made when I was the temple president. And I was very submissive, Oh yeah, but even like today, if I meet him and tell him my president, he will just be angry with me. But I still respect him as my president, okay? Yeah.
Can you help me out? Going back to the pride question. I mean, some faiths believe that if you attain certain levels, say for instance education, like you know the Amish very well, we both live in their community. If you go beyond 8th grade education, then pride comes in.
Yeah.
But now we're talking about people with PhD, 3 PhD. So that means for the Amish community, they believe they can never see the kingdom of God.
Okay.
How do we relate that?
Yeah, you see, thank you very much. You know, I don't know whether all of you know about the Amish people. In America, there is this group of people who accept very low profile life, and then they try to focus on community development, community lifestyle centered on God, some type of little bit of veneration or something like that. Not really, but you know, they have lived very simple life. We also live simple life, but now the principle is like the Guru Kuli boy, who says, if I excel, I'll be proud. So Prithu is saying, now these Amish people, 8th grade, it's enough. Don't go higher. This is a typical mediocrity. And you know, my Guru Maharaja is very much against mediocrity. He talked about mediocrity, but even till today, people who even read his books, in most cases, they don't understand what he's talking about. They don't understand what he's talking about, yes. Mediocrity means accepting to be lower than what your talent level should be. I got one boy who is studying physics in London, in one of the universities. He just sent me a message. And then I know he's getting all this type of preaching, these bombardments of mediocrity preaching from some devotees. Yeah. And I just fired him back, you know. So, see, in the US, I went to one temple. I want to mention the temple. I went to one temple, and I saw there was this young boy. He's finished his master's, and he said he wants to go and register for PhD. I said, oh, please, you go ahead. And when I went back to his temple, he was telling me that the temple president, he didn't go to college. The temple president didn't go to college. He has no college degree. He never went to college. The temple president said, going to college is Maya. No. I'm just open. And if you like, the highest thing you can do is to carry a gun and kill me. All right here. I don't give a damn. So these are some of the things that are happening in our moment. So I said, but if he says that, what is your decision? He said he will go and register. So we have this type of mental. I'm not surprised. There's a concept in the Bhagavatam that says, Pashyanapi Napashit. I mean, Atmavat Manitechaga. We tend to project our image in the whole universe. If I'm a thief, I will trust nobody. If I'm a pure devotee, I will tend to see everybody on pure level. I will see only the super soul in people's heart. I will not discriminate between gender and age or whatever. This is a common thing. But we should stop profiling people with sociological nonsense in the name of spiritual philosophy. I say it's sociological nonsense because we are not doing any of these kids any good if we begin to present our philosophy or use mediocrity as a smoke screen in dissuading people from pursuing their dreams. In the Upanishad, it is mentioned clearly, and you can read in Upanishad, it is mentioned clearly. We have to cultivate nations and science side by side. In other words, devotional culture and professional development side by side. Now, some people, they may say, it is too difficult to do this integration. I get you. Integration in calculus is like the foundation of calculus, but it is very difficult. But the Upanishad says you have to do the integration. I didn't say so. It is what this Upanishad prescribes. People read this Upanishad, they recite this Upanishad, they recite even that verse. They don't understand the meaning of that verse. Yeah. So, pride, even the pauper is imbued with pride. A pauper, one who has nothing, a beggar, is imbued with pride. How will you relate to that? Beggar, he has nothing. He has no house. He stays under the bridge. He is imbued with pride. You give him $1 and then he says, I need $10. He's begging for something. You give him food. He says, I don't need food. Give me money. Isn't that pride? A beggar should just be at the mercy of the giver. But no. So that's why I said even a pauper is imbued with pride. So it is not that when we excel, then that becomes an infection. No, it is not. I remember sometimes people preach that, they don't want their children to go to school because if they go to school, they cannot be devotees. I have seen in our movement, someone finishes their postdoctoral program. When you're going to do a postdoctoral program, means you're ready to go and teach in the university. You finish your PhD, you're going to do postdoctoral program, and you're ready to go and teach in the university. He finishes his postdoctoral study, and then he moves into the brahmachari ashram. I've seen that in New York. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Okay, some people say, if you go too high in your studies, you will not be a devotee. I have a PhD with over 35 publications in peer-reviewed journals. I've been a brahmachari for the past 40 years. Boy, what is this? If education deviates or distracts you from devotional service, then you are not serious about the devotional business. Let's be clear. Srila Prabhupada ki
Bhakti Vasudeva Maharaja ki